My friend was pulled over and the cop said he was taking a suspicious route, and that was the rationale for pulling him over.
Honestly, the only thing I'm scared of in Yellow Springs are the police themselves.
I heard this loud bang when I was in the shower. I was actually in the shower. And then there was this very aggressive, loud pounding noise on the door, and I was like, all right, I'll get the door, just give me a second. So I got out of the shower while the shower was still on and put my towel on. And I started to open the door, and all of a sudden it was pushed open, and there was a taser and a gun in my face, and cops were telling me to get on the ground, and I had never experienced anything like that. It was very surreal, and I've never been arrested before, so I was like, all right, calm down, I'm getting on the ground. And there wasn't enough room for me to get on the ground, so my feet actually had to be in the tub while the rest of me was on the ground, and they were screaming at me, is anybody else in the shower? And I said, no, I'm the only one here. And I thought someone might have called the cops thinking that I was breaking and entering when the people that own or not own the place but live there, rent it out, know that I stay there. They let me stay there. And so then they let me stand up, and they let me put my boxers on and my jeans and stuff. They told me to put all this stuff on, and they still have their guns drawn, and they're going, like, you know, clearing the rooms. And then they put cuffs on me and sit and walk me out into the living room, and I tell them my wallet's in my left pocket, I've got identification in there. They start going through the drawers and like looking through all the house, turning it all around, and the front door was kicked in and broken. The window thing was busted. When I looked at it, it was in shambles, and what I don't understand is the back door was unlocked and open.
We changed our focus on how we do what we do, law enforcement. We currently have an officer that works full-time for the Drug Task Force, known as the ACE Task Force here. Right. And ACE, for people that don't know, stands for Agencies for Combined Enforcement, and that's a Greene County unit that's staffed by most of the agencies in Greene County.
Like two of them that were identifiable as ACE Task Force. The rest I thought they were just Yellow Springs Police. And they said the search warrant says that any bag on the premises we're allowed to look through. And in one of my bags I had what's called a dugout. It's a wooden contraption that's meant for holding like tobacco, marijuana, whatever. And sometimes it has a one-hitter, you know, something. But this thing didn't have any weed in it, and it didn't have a one-hitter. It didn't have anything like that, but it's still considered paraphernalia. And I was like, and I know that I'm allowed one phone call after I get arrested, and I said, Officer Jones, when am I allowed my phone call? And pardon my language, but he says, when you get to fucking jail. And so I was like, all right, that's fine. And then one of the officers hadn't seen my cigarette holder, and it was on the table after they had taken it out of my pocket, and he holds it up and he's like, what's this? I was like, it's a cigarette holder. It's meant for, you know, holding cigarettes so your fingers don't turn yellow. And he goes, yeah, right, you're the supplier, you know, I know you're the supplier. And he's like, you know, do you smoke weed? Do you smoke marijuana? And I was like, not often, you know. And he was like, all right, so how often? I was like, once a month, you know, twice a month. And then he was like, you know, so when was the last time you smoked marijuana? Because I'm pretty sure you still have some levels of THC in your body. And I was like, well, as far as I can remember, it was 10 days, 12 days ago. I know you stay here, and I know you know people, like, I think we know there's drug trafficking going on here. And I was like, I don't know anything about that. I only sleep here. I don't hang out here. I sleep here. I shower here every once in a while, and I go downtown and look for jobs. And he's like, all right, so you know there's people that smoke weed here. And I was like, I'm not entirely sure. I couldn't tell you that. And he goes, well, I know you know, so give me names.
I've had kids come to me and say they're concerned about so-and-so. They're using a lot of marijuana. Okay. You know, and that would give me the opportunity then to make contact with not only that child, but a parent or a guardian.
But when they sat me down the second time, it was very brief because, like, you know, they said, we know you don't want to talk, but, you know, like, names, whatever. And I was like, I don't know what you want me to, like, if you want to ask me questions, then ask me questions. And he's like, well, do you want me to ask you questions? Because you already said you wanted an attorney. And I said, well, in that case, then no, I don't want to answer any questions. They said something that was along the lines like, are we kicking him? Are we kicking him to the side or something, which I thought, and then someone was like, no, in which what I thought was like, well, I didn't give them anything they wanted, or So they're not going to kick me to the side, they're not going to let me go, or the fact that I had that paraphernalia. He was like, today we're starting your criminal record and you are going to be going to jail. That's jail time. I didn't think I was in the wrong in any way. I had no reason to be cuffed. I had no reason to be sent to jail.
And does the department have like an overall mission with regards to drugs? Like
I don't want to say a mission.
Or goals?
Once again, it kind of gets back to the public safety aspect of things. I mean, look. There are people who recreationally use drugs, and I think there are people who recreationally use drugs where there's not an impact on their minor children. There's not an impact because they're not robbing, stealing, you know, to get their drugs. I mean, but some people, and you know, all aspects of life, young and old, who, in order to feed the habit, you know, do steal, you know, which then affects us all. You know, when somebody breaks into my car and rips my radio off, my insurance rates go all up, and so do everybody else's insurance rates.
I guess resin's considered possession. One of the officers at the Xenia, where they booked us, which isn't where we were held for the night, said that the paraphernalia charges are just stupid, quote unquote. They said it's really stupid. I asked them about my possession charge, and they said something about not, or the citation. They said something about not, that wasn't going to stick. So I actually didn't get charged with that citation. Everyone there, even though some of them had felony charges and some of them had just misdemeanor charges, but they were greater than mine, did not feel that I should be there. They were like, you should have got a fine and walked like a traffic ticket. And still I was in jail for as long as I was.
And once anything happens to you, you kind of get labeled immediately. Like, I'm starting to find kids here, the same kids getting hassled by the police.
To me, it seemed like a big thing. You know, it seemed like a drug raid. And so now I feel like whenever they're going to see me on the street, they're going to think, well, there goes that supplier, or there goes that kid that won't narc out on his friends. Okay. So right now it's just looking for a lawyer and figuring out whether or not, because they had mentioned that this charge is going to affect my financial aid for school, and I really need to get to school, and I'd rather not have that.
So a lot of times we're able to get people some help through the court system, where they are mandated to get evaluated and things like that. So a lot of times there's the police department or law enforcement or the judicial system can help at times, you know, trying to get people, you know, healthy again, you know. But I can't say it works all the time. But that's, for me, that's a key thing. I mean, it's not. I don't get my jollies putting people in jail. That's not fun. It really isn't fun. But I've had quite a few people come back to me who we have been able to get some help for, and some in very dramatic ways, you know, that have changed lives, and that's kind of cool. And that's the cool part of this job, is being able to do that, have some positive impact on somebody's life instead of the, you know.
If you go to Beaver Creek, you'll find that most kids dress alike, and a few kids dress like the kids here in Yellow Springs. You come to Yellow Springs, and all the kids dress like the ones that are sure-sign drug users. And so they're being targeted because they appear to be the people that they're looking for. But I'm starting to hear older folks complain, if you're wearing a tie-dye, they're getting pulled over. And so they're definitely profiling, but the kids are going to get it the worst because you don't have the cookie cutter kids here.
People are just running away to never come back because of all these conflicts. Out of my friends, I'm the only one left.
This place lost its freedom. That there were things that you could really kind of do comfortably that no longer feels comfortable.
When they pick one person to harass, and usually that person has a lot of friends,
Everybody
gets harassed, and it's like they're taking just any random person who they saw talk to whoever it is that they've been watching, and then they want to start watching that person, and then this person, and the next person, and it's like, it's harassment. It is.
We're all being watched.
So you think that that's the strategy, that they're picking out specific people?
Yes.
I think they're picking out specific people. I don't think it's random at all, and I think that
it can't be random.
I think they know who they can get away with harassing.
Too small to be random.
They definitely know who they can get away with harassing and who they can't get away with harassing.
How many times would you guys say you have contact with the police, like every month?
Yeah, at least once a month.
Well, I actually just recently moved because of the fact that this town is not as welcoming as it used to be, and
I remember when Yellow Springs felt like home. It doesn't quite feel like that anymore. I remember when it was a welcoming, inviting, friendly community, and now with the police, it's not very nice to hang out here anymore. Like, people got tickets for standing on the sidewalk.
yeah.
Watch out, we're gonna get a ticket.